it's not always a crime, it's the cover-up. And I think the NFL, the Ravens, they all knew this video existed, and they just tried to sweep it under the table, and that's really what upsets me.
Man, everybody is looking ugly and incompetent and even corrupt in this Ray Rice thing. Now, former Ravens running back Ray Rice, the video surfaced yesterday on TMZ of what actually happened in the elevator. The Ravens basically fired him. The NFL now finally suspends him indefinitely, and so it goes. And we're joined by our legal analyst, Paul Harding from Martin, Harding & Mazzotti. And Paul, I guess, oftentimes it's the video these days that makes a difference.
Good morning, Chuck. Absolutely. In this video, and I did force myself to watch it a few times to be able to accurately see what was going on there. Yeah, that video, now that it is in the public domain, everybody's reacting differently. The coach of the Ravens, clearly the Ravens have let Ray Rice go. The NFL, as you say, definitely suspended him. And now the district attorney, who is looking at this, and of course he was charged with a serious crime, and what happened is the charge was reduced down to what they call a pretrial program, where you really have the charges dropped and you go through a year of learning, how better to treat those around you. So, yeah, everyone's kind of scrambling, and the video, as you say, has really prompted that.
Now, does the DA contend that he never saw this tape until now? And if so, that's it's an indictment on him and his office.
Well, the district attorney, they're the only ones at this point saying that they did see the video. But we got to remember that this was his girlfriend back then, and prior to and subsequent to that, they get married, and of course there's a child there, and the now wife then says, "Hey, I'm not going to testify. I'm not going to participate in this criminal investigation or at this trial." So it is a bit sticky. And the district attorney, knowing probably now with all the scrutiny, everyone looking at this would treat it a little bit differently, because they can technically move ahead with the case, even though the victim doesn't want to testify. But at the time, again, they're married, there's children, and looking at what the victim is looking to do, they made a decision, one that I think that they regret.
Paul, I don't understand. I mean, there is no real answer to this, but I'm wondering, where is that line between what happens in a marriage being for private and where your employer needs to get involved? I mean, in this particular case, and I'll use myself as an example. Let's say perhaps that Roger and I are out on vacation somewhere, we get into a fight, and he knocks me out cold. And then we go to counseling, and he regrets everything, and he works on it, and we agree to stay there in the marriage, and everything's fine. 6-7 months later, his employer says, "You know what? We're going to fire you because we saw what you did." And I'm like, wait a minute, everything's fine. We're working on things that's not your business. And now you're punishing me and my kids by firing my husband. So at what point is it the employer's job to step in? And at what point is it a private, personal matter?
Boy, that is a great question. And I got to tell you, who becomes the victim in that situation? If you and Roger had worked this out under this fictitious scenario, and now he's being affected. But I think what's happening is the employer is being affected, meaning, the focus is coming off the team, or in this case, off maybe the show, and it's going more towards the personal life of the people who are working there or starring in the show. So I think what you have is the employer has the ability to do that, and ultimately the employer is going to look to see their ratings or the focus on their football team, and they're going to make that decision. And the district attorney had, sort of an analogous situation. They needed to make the decision: are they looking for a conviction and put Ray Rice in prison, and they're going to break this family up, right? So, at what point is it a scenario? Now, one makes the argument that this is as bad as it was, right? I think it was the first time that this has been reported, so probably took that in consideration. If it happened a second time, and then the victim, boy, maybe she just doesn't understand, the way the rules here, and they might be more aggressive. So, tricky question, and it really becomes a judgment call.
Speaking with Paul Harding, Paul, we have just about 45 seconds left. But, I know in domestic violence cases, particularly when the person who's abused, usually the woman, refuses to cooperate, it's very difficult to prosecute. That said, though, you have the evidence fall in your lap. I mean, I guess my question is, the DA sees this evidence, it's just pretty clear cut. Did Ray Rice get special treatment because he's a big football star?
Yeah, clearly he got special treatment. The fact that he is who he is lends to his credibility. And I think that this could happen seriously just with someone without the fame in a county such as Albany or Schenectady, if they look at this as a whole and say, okay, what do we need to do here? And they're married, they're living together, there's a child. We need education. We need him to really give him a chance to be a man and be a father and do this right. But if they think that that's going to just put the family in more danger, then they have to prosecute. If they think that he's salvageable and somehow is contrite or remorseful, the video didn't show any of that clearly. And I guess the question is, was he under, was there alcohol involved? We don't know. But it becomes a judgment call, and when the district attorney makes the wrong decision and further harm comes to the family and to the victim, then they look really bad.
Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010. Paul, nice talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.